Hello Cancer, welcome to your October Zodiac Wheel forecast. I'll just focus here for you Cancerians and invite Great Spirit, angels and guides to join me in this reading for Cancer's highest good and the good of all concerned. There we go. These all came out, so these are for you, Cancer. Okay, so firstly, there is the Page of Swords. So messages coming thick and fast with the Page of Swords. Making you have to deal with something on the spot, and it's in the area of your physical characteristics and your mode of action. It's the first house is ruled by Cancer for you Cancerians, and it's the window through which you view the world. Okay, so there's messages and lots of communication being shown there. Now this is the Two of Wands. So the Two is letting you know the next couple of weeks or the next couple of months are very significant for your self-esteem, your support systems, and your family dynamics. Now, the Two of Wands is a fire sign energy. The Wands are fire sign. So Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. And it's the duality, the two, passion and desire, thinking through things through carefully, solidifying your plans, but it's also being in a holding pattern or a holding period. As you can see, he's holding the world in his hands. And it's also a bit of a scholar card as well. So there may be a situation where you're going to enjoy learning a new study or just gathering information. There is a need to gather information, and you've got that Page of Swords there letting you know, if you put your feelers out, you'll get the information coming back. It's not sort of just going to land in your lap. You do have to do a little bit of work on that. Oh, lovely. A fresh new start here with the Fool. Now, the major arcana is the passageway of growth. So you've got the Fool there. So there's a great awakening coming. And it's not about being woke. Being woke isn't being enlightened or being awakened. An awakening is realizing and accepting the higher truth, which isn't actually about the physical reality, because the physical reality is changing. So there's lots of things already showing me that there's big changes here with the continual cycle of change. Okay, so this is that feeling of a brand new adventure opening up with the Fool. And you may surprise yourself as well as your siblings and your people that think they know you. There's also connected to this area, which is the third house area, transport, communication, how you communicate, siblings, brothers and sisters, and close relations. And I can see with that, with the Fool being governed by Uranus, that there's a lot of mental activity going on. So you're really working on brainstorming ideas, and if you are thinking of studying, you know, your mind's ready and active for that. It will actually do you the world of good. Oh, lovely. It will also bring you some calmness and equilibrium with that temperance there. Now, this is a sign of expansion and good luck, the temperance. It's a beautiful card. And it is about freedom and integrity, equilibrium, the balance of opposites, adjusting to the highs and the lows, which is very prominent here through 2020. For every sort of positive thing we experience, there's almost an instant negative, which is the polar opposite. So to be able to keep your equilibrium and not get too high and not go too low is the key here. And it's in your area of what you've come into this carnation to do and what you've come into this carnation for. It's your home and family, and its parents are also represented here. And it is your own house Cancer in the natural zodiac, in the traditional zodiac. The fourth house is ruled by that Cancerian energy, and so there's some equilibrium around for you, and there's more emphasis for you on taking care of yourself and time to heal some of the wounds, thinking things through. And if you do need time out from family members or just to get out of the house, this is letting you know this is a good time, and good signs for that as well. The Hermit. Now, the Hermit here is letting you know that you may be in the dark about something, and its influence is with the fifth house of pleasure, where you find your joy, the love that you give. It's the fun house, your hobbies, your sport, children, matters of the heart. So you may be feeling that you've been sort of left in the dark with this, okay? Now, that could have you feeling that you've been sort of left on your own and you don't want to be alone. So we'll see what comes up on that as well. Wow, you've got a lot of major arcana. So there is a big message of the passageways of growth here, and the events that are being shown in the cards are going to unfold in the next 30 days. Now, with the Death card, it's very scorpionic energy in the area of your well-being, daily routines, and workplace, work colleagues. So sometimes events beyond your control can steer you in a different direction to bring you into new life changes. So the Death card there in that area of the fifth house that I just mentioned is letting you know that the path you were on has come to an end, And the sun is now rising, as you can see in the background there. The sun is rising. So there is a major turning point, and you'll be breaking some new ground in that area. Seven of Swords reversed. With partnerships in business or personal partnerships, marriage, opponents, this is letting you know that you've sort of lost your mojo. So I'm feeling at some level you're not interested in having to deal with that partnership issue. And with that first house, seventh house axis, there's a need to analyse and understand the relationships with others and to maintain appropriate boundaries, because your personal needs are shifting and evolving. Alright? Three of Cups. Now, even though the Three of Cups is reversed, this is letting you know that you can turn things around. So if you've sort of been binge drinking or having trouble conceiving because it's the 8th house area, that may be so through this, you know, the first part of this year, but I'm feeling that this is letting you know that you can turn it around. We'll see what comes up on that. The Two of Cups, it's a beautiful energy. It's the union of two people. It's for those of you looking for that partnership. There is a new relationship being shown there, and it's letting you know that there's an end in sight to any conflict or hostilities in your current relationship. And you could be receiving an unexpected apology or even a gift. And this is in the area of long distance travel, higher education, foreign cultures or people. So maybe the person that is a potential suitor for you is of a different culture to you, and that's okay. But remembering this first house, 7th house axis, where you're analysing the deeper understanding of relationships with others and maintaining boundaries in relationships. So I'm not feeling that you're rushing into anything, even if you do have you know, that spark lit up in you. Queen of Cups here in the zenith of the wheel, and she is about deep feelings, and it's in the area of your professional life, career. It's sort of like the world stage. So in a way you feel like, you know, the world has betrayed you, I suppose you could say, and you do have deep feelings in connection with your career and where you want to take it from here, because you are wanting that big change and taking that leap forward with that Fool, which is to do with your emotions and relationships. 10 of Cups, that's a lovely card to have there. this is where you manifest here in your 11th house. So if you've been having some difficulties with marriage or family, or someone interfering in your hopes and wishes and what you've been trying to keep your focus on, I feel like you feel like you just want to give up. Now this is also to do with friendships and your social groups. So you may have been trying to get your point across somehow to somebody, and you're just feeling like just quitting and not continuing on, and that's that it's like banging your head against a brick wall. Again, you've got to put up your boundaries. You've got to have in place your boundaries, and if you're embarking on anything new, whether it's a friendship or romance, you need to make your boundaries clear so that the person isn't under any misconstrued idea of where you're coming from. And then in the 12th house, which is the subconscious, that which is hidden and what's behind the scenes, there's a need to be careful not to self-sabotage, okay? Because you have got the Ace of Wands there, which is that real fire in your belly and the birth of fresh ideas, but in reverse it's delays and going back to the drawing board. Again, there's a lack of fertility being shown here, so the timing isn't exactly right just yet, but you're certainly tossing around the ideas, and you're going within to keep your equilibrium, because it really is a time now for being kind to ourselves. It's sort of like, you know, you can't really expect other people to look after you better than what you look after yourself, mentally, emotionally, and physically. So now I'll just have a look at where all the planets are with my zodiac cards. So Venus is moving into Virgo on the 3rd of October. And it is affecting the 3rd house for you, Cancer. That new adventure, bit of excitement. But the Venus in Virgo is very practical energy. So it's not going to be too scary, you know. It's not going to. It may take you a little bit out of your comfort zone, but you know, you're going to be making sure that it's a practical thing that you're doing, and you'll be making sure that things are precise and neat and punctual, because there's that need for perfection. So any communication that you receive or have to give and take of information, you'll want precise information, and you'll probably be a little bit impatient with anyone that mucks you around. So you enjoy having detailed analytical conversations with that Venus there in the 3rd house. And it's also the area of transport and neighbourhoods and siblings as well. So that Venus energy is in Virgo, will be looking for the perfection. So, you know, any cars or transport that need to be fixed or have some work done on it, it'll all get fixed, and it'll be running like a dream kind of thing. Okay? But you will be actively searching for knowledge as well. And don't be surprised if you get a little bit of telepathy. That mental energy is very strong with that Venus in the 3rd house as well. Then there is the moon in Libra. So here in your 4th house, the new moon in Libra seeking peace and harmony in your home environment and in your family, within your marriage. And you will be on the lookout for a potential partner with this moon in Libra, because it is about partnerships, the Libra energy. But you'll want someone who also prefers peace and harmony in their home environment. And you could find that you'll really enjoy decorating your home to reflect that energy. The Sun this month moves into Scorpio on the 23rd of October, taking it to the 5th house, where you have the Hermit reversed. Now the Hermit reversed is also about wanting to get out, and you've spent your time contemplating and meditating and going within. Now you want to go out and share it and help teach and share the knowledge. So you will be feeling that passion to do that intensely. You could find that you gain attention too in those 5th house areas, which govern children, matters of the heart, hobbies, sport, and love that is given. But with the Sun in Scorpio in the 5th house, you will find joy through those avenues. And also in the 5th house, you have Mercury. Now Mercury went into Scorpio on the 29th of September. But Mercury is turning retrograde, so I'll reverse that, on the 14th of October. So that is going to be shining a light on how well you use your resources for the areas of your life where you find your joy and your hobbies, and children are influenced there. And you want to get to the core of the matter because you prefer deep wisdom and knowledge in opposed to superficial knowledge. So you're not going to have much time for superficial people or superficial information. Okay? Others could find that communication with you at the moment is going to be quite intense, Cancer, because you're very passionate about your creative pursuits. So that's the 5th house. Now in the 7th house we have Jupiter, and Jupiter is direct finally, which is wonderful news because Jupiter is the planet of freedom, expansion, opportunity, adventure, and you're certainly up for adventure. You'd love to have some sort of adventure, whether it's within your local neighbourhood or even just with your brothers and sisters. So Jupiter, the jolly planet, is here helping that relationship area along. So if there's been some difficulties there with the relationships in your life, you've got Jupiter getting the momentum going again and getting some of that mojo back so that you can have some interest in partnerships, business or otherwise. So there is a great sign there with Jupiter of the renewal, signifying the renewal and learning about your own philosophies and beliefs and reaching a new level of understanding. So when you are dealing with your partners in business or marriage, keep in mind that our partners are our greatest teachers. But you could also find yourself joining in to new activities that are going to really be beneficial for you in the next cycle that's opening up now, because Jupiter will be moving into Aquarius before too long. But at the moment, she's going direct, or he's going direct, and that brings a sense of destiny and good fortune. There's glad tidings here in business and or marriage. So you can make room for some bounty. And from the 30th of October onwards is the most favourable time. Okay? Saturn is also here, so you're not going to get through this without putting your boundaries up and having some ground rules, Saturn rules, regulations and traditions. And if you have been, you know, working hard and biding your time, learning your lessons and reflecting on what you've learnt, then Saturn will bring its rewards. So all these planets are conjunct each other at the moment in Capricorn, in this 7th house partnerships area, with Pluto. Pluto is also in the mix. So Pluto energy is very profound, quite deep. It is what governs our soul urge. So it won't let, and I think I've said this before, it won't let you move forward with anything that isn't in alignment with your highest goods. But now, with it going direct on the 4th of October, finally, there sort of will be a collective sigh of relief from the 4th of October with it's stationary direct, as it's called, but it's moving in the direct mode. Finally. So, and it does govern man-made structures as well. So you reap what you sow, and just keeping in mind that it will remove, because it deconstructs. So anything that's not really for your highest good, so therefore not sustainable, will be deconstructed. It cuts ties with the past and it brings on a karmic relief that brings on the change that you are needing. And then we have Neptune here in retrograde up in the 9th house for you, Cancer. So Neptune retrograde in the 9th house is affecting how you look at what you see as a good union, or someone who is a good team player, and your love of overseas, foreign places, travel, philosophy, higher education. So you may have felt a little bit like you were in a fog with this Neptune retrograde, and you can fall short if you're coming from a place of superficial opinions. So are your ideas useful in relation to the broader philosophy? And you could have also been experiencing a confrontation of opinions and truths, which have forced you to examine things in greater detail. And you feel like you have to go over and over and over it again. So it's your belief system. What is considered by you to be your philosophy. So Neptune retrograde is trying to help you really dissolve what you perceived as being your reality, finding it within yourself to forgive and have compassion. That doesn't mean if someone has treated you badly that you have to let them come back and do it again, but forgive yourself for being in that position in the first place. It's also a mystic energy, Neptune in Pisces. So you really could devote yourself to higher learning or searching for the perfect philosophy, because you may be a bit disappointed with the current reality. So keeping your mind focused on a new philosophy, coming out of what you've learnt out of all of this. And then the full moon, so the new moon is here on the 15th in Libra, and the full moon is up here in the zenith of the wheel in Aries on 1st, 2nd of October, depending on where you are. 2nd October here in Australia. So even though it does appear that you are coming from a very emotional place to do with career and your professional standing and your reputation, there's that sense of feeling betrayed with that. Water sign energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy. And the feminine energy, Queen of Cups and the moon, is a very sacred feminine. And the sacred feminine is so strong this year. There's lots of women, whether they're on the world stage or they're just working in their own little network, that are doing so much to help and heal. So I feel that there is a healing here, and it can be that you need to connect a bit more with some of the feminine energy in your life. Okay, so the full moon is a time for looking at new opportunities. The full moon is culmination. You can often tell what is really prominent, if you're wondering in what direction you should go, by seeing what's being offered around the full moon. Okay? Because there is a strong healing taking place around this time, with Chiron also being in Aries. So that spiritual awakening is occurring. So take note of your dreams and your innermost thoughts, and really observe the serendipity taking place here. Mars is in Aries also. So Mars is the warrior energy, the physical vigor, and it's about your drive, it's your sex drive as well. It can be decisive energy and hasty, but the one thing that Mars definitely is, and Mars can be receiving the blunt truth. So in retrograde you may be hearing, or you may be the broadcaster of, the honest truth, and a bit blunt. If you have Aries friends, you may know how blunt they can be. So that's also a part of the healing. Sometimes we don't want to hear the truth, but it's ultimately healing for us to accept the truth, and know that it's honest, not some conspiracy. It's the honest, blunt truth. So if you really want to know what someone thinks, if you have an Aries friend, go talk to them. They'll tell you, and it won't be to hurt your feelings. It will be to, get you thinking, so that you can make your choice better. That type of thing. Okay, so it is in retrograde, and that is the fundamental instinct of survival and how we relate the masculine and the feminine there together. So keeping that physical system in good condition, and there's also that strong will to win, taking the initiative. Even though while in retrograde it could be you've got ideas about your career or your professional life and how you can use that to spring forward, Cancer. And here with Uranus in the 11th house, we have Uranus retrograde in Taurus. So the ability to give and receive love, what you consider your precious gift and how you give that gift to the world. There's also a sense of generosity. Just a little warning that the Uranus retrograde can provoke high-level risk-taking. Okay? And then alternatively, it can also have you clinging fearfully to outmoulded alliances as well there in the area of friendships and social groups, hopes and wishes and manifestation. And with that 10 of Cups reverse, it does sort of show that, you know, there's a sense of quitting. So you may want to let go of some associations that are no longer working for you, setting those boundaries. Okay, you might have had to deal with people with erratic mood swings or unreliable behaviour, and if that's the case, there's a feeling of dissatisfaction and anxiety connected with that. So you may have to let go of those associations that are presenting that kind of energy for you. So if you have any questions, leave them for me in the comments. Now I'll just ask what your guardian angel is here for October for you Cancers, so that you can call upon your guardian angel to come in when you are needing that extra support. Who is Cancer's guardian angel, please? Angels, can you please show us? Oh, nearly jumped. Oh, there we go. Now, we had a few, so I'll take the top one for you, Cancer. And it is the angel of belief. So your belief systems are getting a bit of a shake up there. So some of your old belief systems are dissolving. And the number 3 is significant for you. It's 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. And it's saying believe. So there's something that you do want, Cancer, but you don't believe it. or you don't believe that you're worthy. So your belief system is in need of a bit of extra attention, Cancer. So I'll read this to you out of the Guardian Angel reading cards, which I absolutely love, and I'm still learning myself, so you can learn along with me. So the message is, you have the faith and belief that your loved ones are in a safe hands in the spirit world. Now, your affirmation, when you're doubting yourself, you can use this affirmation. I have the belief that my loved ones in the spirit world are safe. I understand that after this life ends, my spiritual journey will continue in the spirit realm. Okay. Lovely. And we'll find out what your confirmation of this spread is for you, Cancer, with the Akashic Tarot. I've also found the messages from this deck very helpful. So you have spring and autumn, which we are in now. In the northern hemisphere it's autumn, and here in the southern hemisphere it's spring. So this is reversed, so you have the autumn message of the Four of Forces, and that's from also the Akashic records, which I love. Okay, so I'll just hold that there so you can see that. So when you receive this card reversed, autumn is in the upright position. So it reveals that a cycle of harvest and perhaps great abundance is coming to you. You will certainly be called upon to gather up the results of the actions you've taken in the past. Your career, creative or personal projects are all about to pay off. Although the results you've been anticipating may be favourable, don't forget that there's effort in the harvest as well as the planting. There may be some loose ends to tie up or some final action that needs to be taken. If so, focus on what needs to be done now to bring closure or completion on the matter at hand. Harvest is a time of reaping what you have sown. Enjoy the fruits of your labour, whether the harvest is big or small. Always choose to live in appreciation. Placing gratitude in your Akashic records now will invite many things that generate more gratitude in the future. So, give thanks is strongly coming through with that card. Now, to tap into your Akashic force, close your eyes. Now feel yourself standing tall. Place one foot in the spring and the other in the autumn. As you look at your life, ask yourself, what step will help me plant a new situation, and what step will help the harvest? See those actions before you now. Thank you so much for joining me, Cancer. Sending you much love and many blessings of peace for you through October and beyond. Namaste.